Hey everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another stream. Hope everything is fine with you. Hope your day is going very well as well. Let's get this started. Alrighty, awesome. Should I wear my glasses? I think I should wear my glasses. I should also clean them before I wear them. How are you? How are you? How's everybody doing today? So I think we should be also adding an overlay today on the stream. और उस पे हम कह देंगे कि okay, if you want to ask any questions, you can ask them. But yeah, we'll have a look. We'll have a look. Don't worry. How are you, SM bro? I'm good. How are you? How are you doing? There we go. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good to me. Right, let's get this going. Where is the chat? Dogs, chat. There we go. You should be able to see yourself as well, right? Can I zoom in? I'm good. How are you? Boggy. I think I missed one message, and that was, "Hey bro, how are you doing? I'm a React dev. Started learning Angular today." Good. Awesome. That's super cool. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm good. I'm working on the book. So I'm going to be heavily working on the book, kind of bouncing some ideas. And yeah, we'll see that then how that goes all in all. So I'm currently looking into the second chapter of it. So let's first try to bring a let's try to bring the model or the pop-up that we have. Let's see if I can find it. New window, file, open recent, and there should be one thing called bot. CWA. Okay, I can't see that. Let's see if I can find it. Muhammad Jin Khan, Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing, Asan Bhai? Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you doing, Junaid? Is everything good? How are you? How are you? I think it should be here. Code with SN, CWAPE. Slides, contributions, no. Experiments, no. YouTube, no. Interesting. I was under the assumption that I have my CWA bot somewhere. Okay, never mind. I'll get it later. Awesome, Junaid. Good to hear. Good to hear. Let's see. So this is what I was working on. The app with multi-state animation. So I'm going to be looking into this. I'm going to be finalizing this as well. And yes, I need to finalize the entire chapter, so to say. So we will see. So let's see if I can bring in the app just like this. And we can quickly go ahead and put it like this. Awesome. So feel free to ask any questions, and I'll be hopefully responding to all of them as we go forward. There is our chat here. Cool. Okay, good. I had to ask, why does the component in Angular considered to be a directive? A good question. So by default, the concept of directive was anything that adds something new to the HTML. So that was a concept that came in Angular JS. but then it evolved to being, all right, now we are going to call them components, or a component is directive behind the scenes because it does something special with the HTML. So I think this was back in the days when there was just jQuery and no other React or other frameworks. So I think that's by just a convention. But ideally, what I would consider directive versus component is a component has a template, it builds your UI, but a directive is something that does not have a template. Even though technically a component is a directive, I would still say a directive is something that you use to do things with the DOM. So, for example, you can highlight different stuff, you can interact with your document object module, but it would not have its own template in this case. So, I hope that answers the question. Okay, so what we need to do now is first to get a screenshot like this. And I would just copy this into the books document. And I think we should be good. So what do we have to do in this recipe? You'll see this appearing the slide animation from left to right to be okay. Okay. I think I understand what this is supposed to do. So let's see. Okay. Cool. So we are going to create a animation in here. Let's open it. So in the ng multi-state animation, let's go ahead and do, in the multi-state animation, we're going to create, first of all, let's make sure that we are agreeing on this. So there's no animation yet on this one. I think we should rather get it from component types and app component. So we do have a fade in out, but I think we are not using those in here. Oh, we are using them here. Then why don't we have it? Multi-state animation, okay. Can you share resources for best Angular practices that are being followed? And also I want to know about yours too. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the resources is the angular.io. So this has a lot of good documentation on the best practices, as you can see here. Overall, like loading, lazy loading, module features, blah, blah, blah. Understanding. So I would say the best documentation is the official documentation in this case. And apart from that, you can also look into the ng cookbook if you want, because my second edition comes after a few months. So if you don't want to wait for a few months, I think it's going to come in, I don't know, I think May, more or less. So if you want to get the Kindle version, which is the PDF, you can get it, and it contains a lot of good practices as well. Apart from that, I think one of the really good courses is Ultimate Courses. So in here, you can find the Angular courses, and they're really, really good. So maybe look into this as well. Okay, awesome. I did not notice they have, okay, they have improved the UI quite a lot. Interesting. Awesome. So now that we have this animations, let's talk about creating the animation itself. So let's see. So in the old example, if I go to the first version of the book, let's have a look at the first version. So this one, what did this have in multi-state animation? So in multi-state animation, we had a constant with animation. Okay, so this is the animation that we had. It was style in trans. Okay, so we are doing a lot of okay. And what about final in this case? In the final one, we do have animations.ts, but then we have aha, okay. Yeah, this is the one. Opacity, translate X. Okay, I think I understand what I did 2 years ago. So in here, we do have the card animation and app component. Do we import the card? No, not here in the Twitter card. Okay, so we imported from animations, and this is this animations. Okay, got it. So yeah, I think, yeah, we'll start with that. So we're gonna go ahead and say in the app component, we do have this card animation. So we're gonna copy this and then replace our animation with this. State is yet to be imported from Angular animations, and that should be good. And then I have to put it in the HTML. Fade it out, card animation. Now let's have a look. Am I missing something? So card animation looks like this. We do have, wait a second. Okay, let's see. So in this, so we have the state of active, void to active. Okay. I think instead of doing this, we could keep what we had. So enter and leave. So we could say something like enter. No. We could call it enter. And let's see. So if I go here, we do have card animation here. Let's see. So when we do enter in the card animation, we do is transform, translate X into 200 pixel. We start from there. Then we animate for about 2 seconds. Let's make it 1 second. And it should be translate 0, opacity 1. This makes sense. But would it work if the element was not there at all? No. Let's see. So we did have the animation implemented in here. That's the card, F card, FFV card. And then we have the time picker. If we change it, okay. Tranquility, I'm good. How are you? Let's revert this back. Oh, is it because I'm not importing this? Yeah, it could be that I'm not really importing anything. Wait a second. Okay. How are you doing, Tranquility? Yeah, so we're missing one thing, and that is the, if I go to main TS, we need to provide the animations. Provide router. And we need to also go ahead and do this. Provide animations. And this would come from import from Angular platform browser animations. And then here we can do something like provide animations. And I think we should be good now. I was like, why don't the animations work? Yeah, and now if I go to my HTML card animation, yay, there we go. So now we have the animation. Let's also make this a bit slower. Yay, look at that. Zip, 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 zip. And then we have the active style. Do we want the active style? I don't really know. Color RGB, background, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. So we have the card animation. Can we also make it so that it also tries to leave, but then make it a positive 200, and then it would be the reverse of it. So it should start with translation 0, and then it should go towards 200, or not plus 200 but just 200. Opacity should be 0, start would be 1, and then I think this should be okay. So now if it goes away, it would also be in a sliding fashion, I hope. Invalid keyframe value for translate 200. Oh, we need pixels, my bad. There you go. You can see the previous one going out and the other one going in, right? But the only thing that is a problem right here is it takes a bit of time. So when we are leaving, or actually when we are entering, we could also do a 2-second delay, and you can see now. So the first one goes away, and then the second one comes in. The one thing that I see is a problem here is this. Look at this. You see the other one going down? That's what we don't really want. So yeah, we'll fix that in a bit. While using Sass in Angular, what is the best way to write media queries? Since I'm using Sass and finding myself writing duplicate code, especially media queries. Junaid, it depends. For example, if you have the same code, you can put that into a single file that you import into multiple files. For example, I could go ahead and create, for example, style CSS. I could create multiple files. Like I could say, for example, page1.scss, and then you could also copy paste it. You could say this is going to be page2.scss, and then you could have, for example, a file that is common. So you could say something like page common.scss, and in here now you can write the style. So whatever media query you want, you can go ahead with that. So you could say all max width, I don't know, maybe 680 pixel is something you're targeting. And then whatever styles you have for the page, you could say, all right, in this case, the page would have, I don't know, background. What did I miss? And background color, maybe this. So if this is what you're going for, now you can import this into both of the files. One of the good practices for files which are supposed to be imported into others is you name them with an underscore, just like this. So in this case, I can go to page 1 CSS and say import, and then here I could say import, and here page common, just like this. Notice that when we are importing, we don't use in underscore here, but the name of the file has underscore in this case. So you do keep this one, save it, and then similarly you go to page 2 CSS, you also mark it. So now you have this imported for both of them. One of the things that you might want to make sure is when you are importing those, because sometimes if you're importing this at the top of the file, then if you type some styles afterwards, these styles would override these ones. So you might want to import this later on, for example. So these are the styles which are, for example, you could call them window or desktop. Let's call them desktop styles. And then you're importing mobile styles. So yeah, just some of the gotchas you need to be aware of. So this is going to be the same here and in here. Does that make sense, Junaid? Carter, great you are. Thank you. I hope you're great too. All right, I need to delete these files now. And I think there is an option on YouTube that you can actually clip it. So if you go to YouTube, you can clip this the last 30 minutes, so you can save them for yourself as well. Okay. So I've removed those files now. Let's continue to the animations. So one of the things that we saw was this. You see this? It kind of goes around in that case. So let's try to figure out why that happens. In the index HTML, we have this and this. Maybe it's in the Twitter card that is something causing this. So we have, because I did copy this, the cards, or at least some of the things with the cards to our code. So in this case, FB card, what does that have? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, so I think that we would need, we could get this into a div. We could give this a class of relative. So we have a position relative in this. And then we could give this, let's see. And then inside we could give them class absolute. So you see we do have, now we don't show those things, right? One of the things we would also want to do would be left 0, left 0. All right, where does this element show now? Let's have a look. So in this case, we do have the div right here. Then we have the position relative being applied here. And then we got this card. So this element, if I remove position relative, then it goes all the way there. So which we don't really want. This does allow us to have this. Yeah, we're gonna have to think about it. So we could have a width of MD or max width MD. But then the thing is, we don't want it to be absolute all the time. So this cannot be here. This would have to go into the animations. So let's go ahead and do that quickly. So in this situation, when we are entering, the style should be this. The position would be absolute. And then once we have this done, the position would be unset. I do want to have a look at that. Yeah. And then similarly, while we are having this, we go with absolute. And then we also go with position relative. We have an issue here. And in this case, we should also have all the time. I think we should always have left 0. I mean, we could put that into the animation as well. Okay. Let's have a look at this. So when we are running the animations, we are going, all right, hey, animate this, but it immediately makes it the absolute in this case. Okay, in this case, then we may want to put absolute in there all the time. But it doesn't sound really good. But then we also want the animation to happen as well. It's going to be a tough one. All right, let's do this. Let's also put a delay here. You see there's a delay before the next thing happens. And that's what we don't really want. So when you start going with the leave, you first apply the style, then you animate it. Let's think this through. Stop. Thank you. And let's think this through. So we do want the card animation, and as soon as it starts entering, we should say, all right, now you're going to be position absolute. You're going to also have left 0 in this case. Let's remove this. But actually, in this case, I don't know, maybe it should be absolute all the time. I think it should be absolute all the time. But then you would have left 0, right 0 here as well. And then let's say if we wanted to get rid of the other stuff and this as well. The animation looks really good here. The only problem that we have here right now is that the div up top does not take anything into consideration. And I think that's because also we have text align center here. And then also we have main here. In this we have the align items center. That's also one of the reasons. So this content that we have, is it being applied anywhere else? Because we are using text align. If I remove this align item center, yeah, this is what I'm thinking. So this div should actually start from there. Okay, so in this case, the content is causing the issue, but no. The content comes from styles.css and that should be the main style.css. We could go ahead and say here that the content in here should have a align items unset, and that should make sure that this is smooth enough. If I go down, there is one problem with this. The problem with this is that we have a scroll at the bottom. So what would happen is if I go ahead and create a content just below this, let's say I say div diof and lorem 20, then we'll see this. Yeah, you see. So this is a problem. We don't want that to happen. So let's see what is the biggest size that we have in here. So let's see. In this case, we could have the element itself say we are going to be active in this case, but then we're gonna have to move all the commands or all the animations within those elements, which we could do. All right, let's do it. So I'm gonna revert this. This was card animation. Let's put it like this. So we have that problem right there. But then let's remove the animation from here. And we're going to import it into the other place. So let's say we go ahead and say, all right, we have a card animation, which should look like this. So we're going to have app animations.ts. In here, we have this card animation. Let's import all the things that we need from this. And then we export this card animation from here. So I'm going to remove the animations array from in here. Okay. Now I can also remove this. And now let's have a look at the Twitter component and the Facebook component in this case. And we are going to see how we can implement a bunch of stuff there. So we're going to say, so we got animations and we also should have, let's have a look at the other one. So in this one, we did have the card animation card state here. And then we had this state active. Is this the final one? This is the starting one. Okay. Okay. So we go ahead and we do something like this. So we go to our components. We go to Twitter card. we say, hey, card animation is going to be card state. We're going to add a new prop here. I'm going to say card state equals active, or we could say string. I think if we do active just like this, I think still it should be working. And then we also have animations, and we can say card animation. Okay, I think this should work. Let's see. We have some errors. Oh, that is because we have not provided this at all. Unexpected synthetic property, card animation found. Let's see. Card animation is here. In app component, we have this here. So let's also remove this. Remove this. Let's see. So here Twitter seems to be working fine. Let's also have a look at the Facebook one. So we're going to go ahead and say, all right, this is also going to be card state in Facebook. And then the card state is going to be active in this case. Shahjahan Sarfaraz, I'm good. How are you doing? We're going to say card state equals active. Okay. So we did this. We did this. And now both of them should be coming in. Card animation. Card animation should be animations. And this should be imported from animations. Now we have the Facebook coming in as well. Okay, I think this looks okay-ish. If I wanted to add the other thing in the animations, which would be active coming in with this state, but then we have transition void to active. If I also give this a 2-second delay, and then also I added another one that would be transition active to void, then we are sort of reversing those two things. And going to take this one here. And something like this. Okay, so if we go to from active to void, we start with opacity 1, translation equals to 0, and then we animate with transform, translate x 200 pixel and opacity 0. I think this should be working. Something is missing. So we got state. Oh, okay. I think that is because we are not going outside. So could we then just say leave? I don't know. No. Would we have to go to, I don't know, inactive? But then the problem is as soon as we click it, this is gone away. Okay, so yeah, then it doesn't make sense. I think we covered that into another chapter. So let's focus on that one. Okay, so we do have the animations that are coming in like this. Now we can look into how do we want to improve this. So let's quickly go ahead and say, hey, we do need to commit this code. And that's going to be this one. Blah, blah, blah. Add. Git log. Git commit. And we do chore. ng multi state animations. Starter files. Okay, so now that we have this, let's push this as well. and we have the server already running, so that's good. Okay, so now let's fix this in light of the recipe. So what do? We already are working up that as a single animation built for each of the social cards. When you tap, you will see the respective card appearing with the slide in animation from left to right, giving. Okay, so in this case, we'll start with adding two hosts in the instance of fib, and okay, so in this case, we need to add the host listener to these two cards. So for the Facebook card component, I'm gonna quickly do this: add a host listener. And what do we do apart from this? And that's pretty much it. Okay, so now that we have this, we can have a look at. Ooh, this is what we wanted. Okay, we will see. And this is the same for this one. Okay, so we have one problem, and that is the animations should not have contained this here. So remove the width from here, remove the width from here, and then we should have had. Oh, what did I do? No, I'm changing the wrong file, the wrong project. It should be this one. So in the animations, we should not have. Oh, we have hovered? Yes, we have hovered. So let's move this from here. Let's also add animations. Put it into add it. I'm gonna quickly do git add git. No, we don't want to add all of it. Commit fix ng multi state animation. Fix or remove extra state. Okay, so now that we have this, I think now we can talk about it. All right, so now we added two listeners to this one, and then we also have a look at recipe. We start with adding two host listener incentives to methods. All right, so the code should look as follows. So I'm gonna copy this, copy pasta for the win, and then we go ahead and do this, and then we can get this bold, and then finally I think I could go ahead and do this. Like your theme name, it's called Winter is Coming by John Papa. Host listener. Okay, so I think this looks good. And now we're gonna do the same with the Twitter component. So we go to Twitter component, we copy pasta this one, go here, we add all the missing imports, copy this. So now if I go to my page here, we don't have the hover state. Here we also don't have the hover state at the moment. But I think apart from this, all the code looks really good. So we say host listener is gonna be, and I'm updating my book as we talk along. Host listener, and that should be good. Coolio. And then there should There should be no visual change so far since we are only updating the card set variable to have hover and active states. We haven't defined the transitions yet for the animation. We'll now define our state for when the user's cursor enters the card, that is mouse enter event. The state is called hover and should look as follows. Okay, so now we go ahead and try to... Oh, did I tell the name? Yeah, I told the name of winter is coming. So if you go here, it's going to be this one. Winter is coming, dark blue, no italics. I really like it. So now I go to animations and here we add a hover state. We scale 3D, but I think we should also be, I don't know if we should be doing... So we have the hover style. Do we add a transition to this? Yeah, I think we do. Cool. So now if I mouse over, yay, look at that. We got an animation. Yay, awesome. But we have a problem. The problem here is, the problem in this case is if I look at Twitter card, it's this one. Yes, it's this one. But the problem here is this is too fast. We don't want too fast. It looks a bit, I don't know, too snappy. We'll not define our state. So in this case, what we need to do is we do have the same thing, blah, 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 void to active. I'm just removing code that does not look from or doesn't look good from the recipe point of view. So let's remove this. And now we can quickly go ahead and say, if you refresh the app now, tap either Facebook Twitter button and hover the mouse over the card. You'll see the cards UI changing. That's because we changed the state to hover. So we now add the animations. So finally, we need to add this transition at the end. So we're going to go ahead and go to animation.ts. And towards the end of the file, we add this. So when we go from active to hovered, we should use a 300 millisecond ease out. And then, yeah, the rest of the things look good. So now if I mouse over, yay, you see? And if I go here, you can see the same. The problem in here is you can see that when I leave the mouse, it's very fast, very snappy. We don't want that as well. So the final thing would be to add the final transition, and that would be this. So if we go from hover to active, it's going to be still 0.3 second ease out, but then we just change the styles. And now if I go from here to outside, you see now this is smooth. Yay. Awesome. I like it. Now I'm going to just look at if everything looks good in the book. We'll add the active hover transition now in the animation file so that we can smoothly navigate from active to hovered state. Okay. So state active, hover, transition void to active, transition active to hovered. Wait a second. I think I'm missing something in the code. So we should have active to hovered. Active, hovered. Yeah, looks good. Yay! Ta-da! You know, angular animations. Different using animations. How it works? Who knows? Angular uses the triggers for understanding which state animation says, things like animation triggers. In our case, we bind it to the card state property, which contains either when the element is added to the DOM and rendered. Cool. I think this looks good. So let's quickly finalize this. So we're going to go ahead and do ls npm run copy 04 ng multi state animations. And this should copy the starter file into the final project. There we go. Git add final. So we add the final one and we revert the initial one. So now if I try to do the same serve but with both, let's see what happens. My tea is cold. Is this running both of them? No, not yet. So I'm going to be right back. I need to warm up my tea. So I'm going to be back. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to be right back. Hmm. How to use Angular in Windows 7? Good question. I think the process is the same. You just install it. You need to install the Node.js module. And once you have installed Node.js, then, go to angular.io, go with triangular. Not triangular, maybe just go with getting started, setup. So yes, this is what you would want. You would want to have the, oh no, I'm looking at the wrong page. Wait a second. So here you go to angular.io and then you go to get started, setup, and in here you can see the instructions. So ideally you should have the Node.js. So you should have Node.js installed. Try to have an active LTS. I think you should be able to install it. And then the npm package, and then you install the Angular CLI. Once that's done, you can essentially go ahead and run it by creating ng new, and then you have your app created. So yeah, it's very easy to get started with Angular. And the good part is that you get all the files, or you get a basic scaffolding with the best practices created already. So yeah, absolutely try it. Okay, so now if we have a look at the both of the applications, so 4201 and 4200. So this is how it would look by default, right? And if I go to here, now I can also see here we don't have the animation, but here now we do have the animation. Yay! Awesome! And if you have not followed me yet, try to go to Twitter and then follow, or just go to GitHub and follow. No problem, Carter. No problem at all. All right, so I think this recipe is pretty much done. So let's quickly push the code. It's always good to commit and push code as much as possible, so you don't get, you don't lose it. So let's have a look at the log. I'm gonna just be lazy and copy paste the code from it, or actually from here. Git commit commit m, and then we go ahead and do the final file. So instead of starter, we say final files. There we go. And then we just do a push git push. There we go. All right, now we need to create the code for the next recipe. So we're gonna have to, let's see if I can bring this down a bit. Can I also stream channels? Can I remove that dog? Yes, no. Stream information. Okay. Okay, so here, can I move it like this? Yes. Can I scroll it up? I'm trying to adjust my screen so I can also see you folks as well. But okay, cool. So chapter 4, the next app we need to create is creating complex Angular animations using keyframes. That's going to be fun. So CSS keyframes is something that's amazing. And we probably want to do the same thing. What do we have here? Can I get rid of all of this? Thank you. Can I also do a git pull? Thank you. Got. Oh, the readme changed. That's not too bad. Okay, so the next one that we have here is called ng animations using keyframes. Which app do we have in here? We have the same thing, but we have now the keyframes in it. Okay. For the starters, what do we have here in the app? Animations, do we have all the, okay, we have the basic one in this case as well. Okay. Not too bad. Cool. So let's try to do that in the keyframes scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new app. I'm going to call it, let's stop these ones, npm run create. We're going to name it, what is the name of the app? I think it's ng animations, or should we call animations? No, I think we call it ng animations keyframes. Cool. I think we can keep it like this. We also need to give the chapter number. So chapter number 4, name of the app. And now we can say Angular. No, we could say Angular animation with keyframes. Okay. So now this should create a new application for us in the start project. And hey, feel free to ask any questions in the meantime. And then I should be able to answer them. Alrighty, so we got this one created. Mm-hmm. So now we can go ahead and do something like this. Mm-hmm. npm run serve ng animations keyframes. Mm-hmm. I think I should also turn this to my device so I can hear this. And then I can remove the headphones. Alright, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, आई होप आप ठीक होंगे सर. मैं प्रोजेक्ट ट्यूटोरियल से बनाता हूँ और एंड फिर उस प्रोजेक्ट को खुद बनाता हूँ, लेकिन देन आई यूज़ गूगल ETC. क्या मेथड बेस्ट है लर्निंग के लिए, क्योंकि लॉजिक ज़रूरी है. लॉजिक कमज़ोर है मेरी सर. यार ये दोनों टॉपिक्स पे मैंने बात की हुई है. पहली चीज़ तो ये कि लॉजिक अच्छी या लॉजिक कमज़ोर कुछ नहीं होती, ये प्रैक्टिस से आता है. ये ऐसे ही है कि एक फ़ुटबॉलर अगर अच्छा है और दूसरा फ़ुटबॉलर अच्छा नहीं है, तो उसमें मेजॉरिटी जो है वो हमारे पास होती है प्रैक्टिस की बात. तो आपने अगर प्रैक्टिस की हुई है अच्छी, तो आपकी आपकी लॉजिक मतलब लॉजिक कुछ नहीं होता. आपने एक तरह की एप्लीकेशन बनाई, अब आप दूसरी दफ़ा उस तरह की या उससे मिलती जुलती बनाओगे तो आप जल्दी बना लोगे. लेकिन अगर कोई बंदा है जिसने वो काम नहीं किया हुआ, तो वो इस चीज़ को देर से करेगा. तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता कि हम पैदा होते हैं बहुत अच्छी लॉजिक के साथ और हमें सारी चीज़ें पहले पता होती हैं और हम पिक करते हैं. तो जब भी कोई नई चीज़ आप पिक करोगे, यू विल टेक टाइम इन दैट. तो लॉजिक वॉजिक कुछ नहीं होती, पहली चीज़ तो ये. लेट मी क्विकली चेंज द बैटरी ऑफ माई कैमरा. और जहाँ तक दूसरी बात है कि गूगल हम करते हैं या ट्यूटोरियल से चीज़ बना ली, अब दूसरी दफ़ा करने में ख़ुद से नहीं बन रही, तो कोई भी कंपनी ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करती कि आप जो है वो अपने जहन से सारा का सारा जो है वो कोड, सारी की सारी एप्लीकेशन बना लोगे. तो हर जगह गूगल करना होता है, हर जगह जो है वो सर्चिंग करनी होती है. तो इसमें कोई बुरी बात नहीं है. आप सीख जाओ एक चीज़ और उसके बाद आप गूगल करके भी अगर बना रहे हो और समझ के बना रहे हो, तो आई थिंक दैट्स गुड. तो लर्निंग के लिए बेस्ट तरीका यही है, या बेस्ट तरीका तो कोई नहीं होता. जो मुझे तरीका समझ आ रहा है वो ये है कि आप ट्यूटोरियल्स फॉलो करके चीज़ें बनाओ और उसमें फिर चीज़ें ऐड करो. खुद से गूगल करना है गूगल करो, नहीं करना नहीं करो. इट्स अप टू यू, बट क्रिएट अ लॉट ऑफ एप्लीकेशन. जितनी ज़्यादा बनाओगे उतना ज़्यादा यू विल गेट बेटर इन इट. सो आई होप दैट आंसर द क्वेश्चन. ठीक हो गया. चलें अब थोड़ा सा ये देख लेते हैं कि हम इस एप्लीकेशन के अंदर कर क्या रहे हैं. तो सबसे पहली चीज़ तो ये कि इस ऐप में मुझे बहुत सारी चीज़ें वही चाहिए जो कि इससे पिछली ऐप में थी, मल्टी स्टेट एनिमेशंस में. तो मल्टी स्टेट एनिमेशंस के अंदर हमने स्लाइडिंग जो है वो इम्प्लीमेंट की हुई थी, राइट. तो उसमें होवर्ड वाली चीज़ नहीं थी, लेकिन बाकी एनिमेशन इटसेल्फ इम्प्लीमेंटेड थी. तो मैं इसका ऐप कॉपी करता हूँ, मैं इसको ले जाता हूँ एनिमेशन की फ्रेम में, सोर्स के अंदर, और मैं इसकी ऐप कंपोनेंट में जो ये एलिमेंट है, बस मैं इसको अपने पास कॉपी रख लेता हूँ. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस आई डोंट थिंक आई नीड एनीथिंग एल्स. तो इस ऐप को रिमूव करते हैं और इस ऐप को यहाँ पे ले आते हैं. और आई डोंट नो क्यों, लेकिन ये बहुत टाइम लेता है फॉर सम रीज़न कभी कभार. हम्म. लेट्स सी. मैं अगर इसको रिवील इन फाइंड कर दूं तो ये ऐप कॉपी हुआ है. अब मसला ये है कि अगर मैं इसको क्लोज़ करने की कोशिश करूंगा तो ये कहेगा आप VS कोड क्लोज़ करें. ठीक है, और मैं VS कोड क्लोज़ करूंगा तो सब क्लोज़ हो जाएगा. चलें ऐसा कर लेते हैं, क्लोज़ विंडो. अब देखें ये सही हो गया. सही है. लेट्स क्विकली गो अहेड एंड ओपन NG Cookbook second edition. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. And now we're going to paste the app component.html. So multi-state animations के बजाय it would be animations with keyframes. And then we run npm run serve ng Animations, keyframes. Okay, सही हो गया. Abdurrahman, no problem. Feel free to ask any questions anytime. Okay, let's close this. Let's go to the app, and we should have the app right here. ओके ज़बरदस्त. वी ऑल्सो नीड टू कॉपी दी एसेट्स. अब यहाँ पे मुझे थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है क्योंकि आई नीड दीज एसेट्स टू बी अवेलेबल थ्रू आउट. तो मुझे या तो मैं एसेट्स कहीं से कहीं और से मंगवाऊँ, या तो मैं टॉप लेवल पे रखूँ. आई एम नॉट रियली श्योर. हर ऐप के अंदर उसके एसेट्स जो हैं वो आई थिंक सोर्स के अंदर मौजूद हैं. तो आई एम नॉट रियली श्योर इफ़ आई शुड क्रिएट एसेट्स या उनको कॉपी पेस्ट किया जाए, या आई डोंट नो. हम यानी कि कोई लाइब्रेरी बना सकते हैं जिसमें से हम एसेट्स एक्सपोर्ट कर दें. ये काम हो सकता है ताकि हम शेयर्ड एसेट्स यूज़ करें, बट आई डोंट नो. क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम ये आ सकती है कि अगर हम एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जा रहे हैं और हमें चेंज करना है तो फिर वो हमें सब में चेंज करना पड़ जाएगा. हाउ अबाउट वी क्रिएट अ लाइब्रेरी फॉर दिस. लेट्स क्रिएट अ लाइब्रेरी फॉर दिस. तो हम देखते हैं कि एनएक्स में लाइब्रेरी किस तरीके से क्रिएट होती है. तो एनएक्स जनरेट लाइब्रेरी और एनएक्स शेयर्ड एसेट्स. सही है. ये क्या है, ये कह रहा है कि वाई यूज़ दिस बंच affected projects to a minimum. Asset for library is not for automatic recovery. Okay. Libraries can keep their assets in their own source, including assets from existing library to an. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's have a look at this example के अंदर we do have, for example, projects. We have my app, my lib shared. So my app has source assets. Oh, okay. So it includes this in here. Okay, interesting. Hmm. And then the shared one. Hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When was this last updated? 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Wait a second. Annex, Angular apps, share assets, please. Mm-hmm. So we got app, shared assets with the multi-project workspace, blah, 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 blah. Create a folder in the shared assets. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, in this case, then we would have to. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Let's also have a look at NX libraries. NX library with assets, ngx library assets. I think that's the simple. That's the same one. This should be nx library with assets. Yes, there we go. So यहाँ पे I think we have this. Share assets. You probably notice you're using same friendly. Create an assets library. You can make a library project using ASCII assets files, packages and file like this. Then move. Is this a? Oh, okay. Is this a code tutorial? Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 I think this is not what I was looking for, but okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the idea would be just for each app's build process to share those assets. How can? This is interesting. Okay. Page not found. No. Assets. Do we have this? No. Doesn't look like this. Annex plugin could have including assets. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. I think this is essentially what we basically want, but okay. Mm-hmm. 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 All right. Let's see. I think I have an idea of what we should do, but we will see. All right. So let's create a library in this case. So we're going to say nx generate angular library. Yeah. So this is what we want to do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. चैट जीपीटी के पास जो डेटा है वो 2021 तक का है, तो उसके पास लेटेस्ट डेटा नहीं होगा. Publishable parent, routing, add tailwind, compilation, change detection, display block, flat, import path, inline style, prefix, strict, stand alone. Okay. Okay, I think सही है. I think we can I think we can still go ahead with this. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Hmm. All right, let's do this. So we could go ahead and do something like this. अच्छा इसमें एक और चीज़ है कि we don't really want to have shared assets all along. So we could have, I don't know, chapter 4 assets, something like this. Or if we are talking about tree shaking, I think it should still be okay. But when we are building this, it's going to transfer all the assets for deployment. But yeah, I don't think we need to deploy, but okay, let's go ahead. So we have cd nx or cd start. Then we can create, but now do I have to create two different libraries? I think yes. And this is not really what I want. So if I have to copy this into two, that means I'm still creating this into two mono repositories. So then maybe should I create it into my plugin? Right. And then in the project JSON, we should have assets. Yes, I think no. Yeah, I think we would have to put this into yes, I think we would have to put this into CodewithAhsan here. I would say let's do this assets, and then inside let's copy this. So we're gonna go ahead and say something like but then when we build it, we'll see. Ahmad Hamza wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, let's try this thing. So सबसे पहले what we'll do is we're going to go to chapter 4 and multi-state animations, and ये जो files हैं we're going to copy those. So we go and say all right, आप जो है you're gonna go to copy this, this, and box model. ये चीज़ें we are gonna go to paste in assets. ठीक है. Acha, now that we have done this, let's actually build this. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. npm or cd CodewithAhsan npm run build. And then before we do that, let's also add the package.json. Assets, not here. Then we got package.json, no, project.json. और यहाँ से we are going to get this to the output. ठीक है, तो what we can do here is हम कह सकते हैं कि packages के अंदर ng cookbook recipe के अंदर हमें अगर कोई भी फाइल मिलती है जो कि है ऑफ टाइप दिस. अच्छा, सोर्स के अंदर एसिड्स भी है, राइट? तो हम यहाँ कहते हैं इसके अंदर सोर्स एसिड्स के की जो भी फाइल है उसके अंदर आप कोई भी फाइल निकाल लो. ठीक है, उसको आपने एसिड्स पे एक मिनट, मैंने कुछ गलत किया है. यस, मैंने कुछ गलत किया है. Assets. So we copy this और let's see if I can revert this. तो ये यहाँ पे आना चाहिए. ठीक. So if I save this now, I think कि इसकी जो build बन रही है उसके अंदर हमारे पास फिर assets भी होने चाहिए. Let's see. ठीक है, अब हमारे पास यहाँ पे assets भी आ गए. This is good. और फिर हमारे पास ये files भी आ गई हैं. Good, good, good. अच्छा, अब मुझे अगर ये वाली files यूज़ करनी है अपनी current application के अंदर, तो कैन आई गो एंड से समथिंग लाइक के प्रोजेक्ट जेसन के अंदर जो एसिड्स हैं उसमें ये सब आ रहा है. ठीक है, बट देन कैन आई ऑल्सो इंक्लूड, जब हम इसको बिल्ड कर रहे हैं तो हम स्टार्ट के अंदर पैकेज जेसन के अंदर वी शुड बी इंक्लूडिंग कोड विद, या एग्जैक्टली, तो ये मेरे पास कोड विद एहसन आ गया, एनजी कुकबुक रेसिपी, और इसकी हमने स्टार्ट के अंदर ये हमारे पास टी एस कॉन्फिग बेस है ना, ये होगा मसला, ये करेगा प्रॉब्लम आई थिंक, अनलेस के हम इसको फिक्स करें एलियासेस से। हम्म आई एम थिंकिंग, या तो हमें एक और टी एस कॉन्फिग का बेस पाथ ऐड करना पड़ेगा, जो कि पड़ा हुआ है कहाँ पे, ये रहा, और ये फाइल पड़ी हुई है हमारे पास कोड विद एहसन के अंदर। नहीं, या तो हमें इसको ऐड करना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे अपने स्टार्ट के अंदर टी एस कॉन्फिग के अंदर, यहाँ पे तो पाथ के अंदर हमने कुछ भी ऐड नहीं किया हुआ, तो अगर हम यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कोड विद एहसन रेसिपी, तो अगर हम इसको थोड़ा सा इंस्पिरेशन ले लें कोड विद एहसन के टी एस कॉन्फिग पाथ से, समथिंग लाइक दिस, लेकिन नहीं, ये थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा, लेट्स सी। तो प्रोजेक्ट जेसन के अंदर हमारी जो स्टार्ट की फ़ाइल है, लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट दैट। तो स्टार्ट के अंदर हम कहते हैं कि यस, यहाँ पे रेफरेंसेस पाथ यस कॉन्फिग, यहाँ पे इट्स फाइन आई थिंक, इंक्लूड करें हम ये चीज़ें, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला। प्रोजेक्ट जेसन के अंदर आप ये सारे की फ्रेम्स और एसेट्स वगैरह निकाल लो, बट देन एक चीज़ जो मुझे क्लियर नहीं हो रही वो ये हो रही है कि क्या हम इस तरीके से यहाँ पे एसेट्स ऐड कर सकते हैं बाय सेइंग कोड विद एहसन, क्योंकि ये प्रोजेक्ट जेसन है, तो ये चीज़ क्लियर नहीं होगी कि हम अगर ऐप्स के बजाय नोड मॉड्यूल्स के अंदर कोड, हाँ ये रहा ना, कोड विद एहसन एसेट्स, देयर यू गो, तो यहाँ पे है ना हमारे पास, तो हम यहाँ पे कहेंगे नोड मॉड्यूल्स डॉट स्लैश कोड विद एहसन स्लैश एनजी कुकबुक रेसिपी स्लैश एसेट्स। ठीक है, अच्छा, अब अगर इन एसेट्स को हम सेव कर लें तो इसका मतलब ये है कि मैं इसको डायरेक्टली इवन विदाउट फाइल्स के इंक्लूड कर सकता हूँ अपनी ऐप्स के अंदर, जिसका मतलब है कि इस नई एनिमेशन की फ्रेम के अंदर मेरे पास एसेट्स नहीं है, सो वी डोंट हैव द एसेट्स हियर, बट इफ़ आई रन दिस नाउ इट शुड स्टिल work. So I'm gonna go and run this keyframes and we'll see how that goes ahead. सही है, now we have a problem, तो देखते हैं क्या कह रही है। Node module correlation assets, asset path must start with the project source root. ये तो मसला हो जाएगा। Then should we be saying this? I think नहीं, I don't think so. I think it should start with a this. नहीं, still fails. Assets path should start with project root, with the project source root. Let's have a look at Google कि ये क्या कहता है और ये क्यों है error. Mm-hmm. Angular does not check to see if the path start with source root. So if you use object syntax. Okay. Interesting. That's interesting. तो अगर मैं assets के बजाय ये use करूँ तो then it should be good. ज़बरदस्त. But then it should be, अगर मैं node modules के assets पे input लेता हूँ और मैं इसको assets में बाहर लेके जाता हूँ तो it should work. Very nice. Let's see if this works. ज़बरदस्त. Interesting. सही है. तो now if I go to my app, yay! That was really interesting. I think this deserves a video of itself. क्योंकि अब मेरे पास ये वहाँ से फाइल उठा के लेकर आ रहा है जहाँ पे ये एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती. तो अब मुझे मल्टीपल जगहों पे ये फाइल्स कॉपी पेस्ट नहीं करनी पड़ेंगी और मैं इसको एक ही जगह से उठा सकता हूँ. डैट इज़ वेरी 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 गुड. लाइक इट. तो मैं एसेट्स में खाली रखा हुआ है मैंने. बेसिक एनिमेशंस इसमें एसेट्स थे, मैं इनको रिमूव कर सकता हूँ कम्प्लीटली और ये स्टिल काम करेगा, विच इज़ वेरी नाइस. कोई एसेट्स नहीं है यहाँ पे. मल्टी स्टेट एनिमेशन के अंदर से भी हम एसेट्स हटा देते हैं और फिर देखते हैं कि ये क्या करता है. तो अगर मैं जाके एक प्रॉब्लम हुई है आई थिंक, और वो ये है कि मेरे पास जो डिस्ट है एसेट्स इसमें बॉक्स मॉडल कवर, ओ नहीं, आई थिंक इट्स फाइन बट लेट्स रन ऑल ऑफ देम और फिर हम इसको एक एक करके देख लेते हैं. npm run serve ng basic animation. पहले इसको ज़रा चला के देखते हैं इफ़ इट वर्क्स. अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, एंगुलर माइक्रो फ्रंट एंड और नॉर्मल माइक्रो फ्रंट एंड विच इज़ बेस्ट? आई थिंक नॉर्मल, but I think you can go with Angular as well. Aman, please make a series on micro front end on Angular, inshallah. I think when I get some time, for sure, then I will. Okay, let's have a quick look at what we have done wrong now. So when I served this application, and that when it was basic animation, source, app, assets. Oh, now I don't have the package.json created. So let's also do that. जिसका मतलब ये है कि should I also create the assets then from the library for the shared assets? I don't know, maybe I should. So that means now I need to go to the first one, basic animation. I need to update project.json for this one और इसमें हमें वो assets की जो signs है, we would have to add this like this. Okay, so we go here, we add the assets like this. So this was for basic animation. Then we have multi-state animation, so we do the same in here in the project JSON. We go ahead and do this. I think we should only be doing it for the build, but I think this should also be the same for serve. So it runs dev server, build prod, but it also runs build, so I think we should be good. Yeah, I think there's only one assets. Yes, cool. So this one is done as well. So now if I run this ng basic animation, I think this should work. Let's see. Yay, it works. Awesome. And now let's also run the other one, which was ng multi-state animations. Let's also run this one, or in the meantime, we're just going to copy this into the final project as well. और फिर उसको हम automate कर देंगे, so we don't have to do this every now and then. So we got apps, we got chapter 4, ng multi-state animations, और यहाँ पे we do have project JSON, and we'll add it here. Cool. Then we'll also add at the other one, basic animation project JSON, और इसको हम यहाँ पे भी ऐड कर देते हैं. ज़बरदस्त. I think we should be good now. Let's quickly check. तो multi-state animations में we still see the images. That's really good. And we are not hosting any images ourselves. So that's super cool. And then finally we do have the ng animations keyframes. अच्छा, इसमें I think we need to do one thing, और वो that would be कि हम इसको automate कैसे करेंगे, but we'll have a look at that in a bit. I think the idea would be कि हम जो अपने executor में, not executor but generator के अंदर we are doing something, हम configuration के targets में जा रहे हैं और हम एक नई चीज़ ऐड कर रहे थे rename की. I think we could also just go ahead and say okay, project JSON ढूंढो और project JSON के अंदर जो नया सॉरी जो styles हैं उसके अंदर please add this thing, and I think that should be good. तो project JSON के अंदर हमारे पास targets हैं, सही है. एंड इफ़ वी वांट टू गो अहेड, यहाँ रीनेम तो ये तो हम ऐड करते हैं. तो बिल्ड के अंदर ऑप्शंस के अंदर एसेट्स हैं हमारे पास, राइट. सो इन हियर वी कुड गो अहेड एंड से समथिंग लाइक व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द टारगेट, बिल्ड. ओके, सो वी हैव टारगेट्स and then we have build. So can we go ahead and say, all right, we're going to have the configuration and then we have targets, but then for the build one, we do want to have something that involves something like this. So we could say build is going to have configuration dot targets dot build, but then in the build we also have options. So we would have, I don't know, should we, instead of doing all of this, should we rather combine all of them? I don't know. So we do something like options, and then we do this, the same thing, options, and then we inside the options we have assets. So all the options, but then for assets we're gonna have to have the existing assets plus one more thing. So we do this with this, and then we add one more thing, and that was this thing, the glob. And I think this should do it. So we are saying, all right, get all the targets, but then the build would be combination of build, but then options would be combination of options, and the assets would be all the assets that we already have, but then one more asset for this one. But the thing is, do I want it for every single app, or do I want it only for the shared ones? I think for all of them, I think it should be good because this whole thing is a single project. So even if we are not using any assets, we are still going to deploy this on the, we're never going to deploy this as well. But yeah, I think for this one, it makes much more sense for me. And we are going to try that today as well. Okay, anyways. So now that we have this running with the multi-state animation with keyframes, I think we should be good. So all we need to do now, if I want to add anything to, if I want to add any new thing to any of the projects, I would just have to go and just execute that. Okay, let's have a look at the recipe now. Too much time taking into the automation here. We're gonna copy this script and paste it inside the new one. Let's see. Okay, so we got complex animation using keyframes. First of all, we need a picture. So let's take a picture. and this is supposed to be the picture. Angular animation with keyframes, copy, go here, and in the book I should have a basic version of it. Yes, we do. Animations using keyframes. सर ग्लोब ऑप्शन में स्टार का मतलब क्या है? अब्दुलरहमान दैट मीन्स के एनी फाइल इनसाइड द एसिड्स फोल्डर वो हमारे पास आ जाएगी. जैसे अगर हम कहते हैं सिर्फ स्टारिक डॉट टी एस, इसका मतलब कि इस फोल्डर में, इस एसिड्स के फोल्डर में जितनी फाइल्स हैं वो सब. अगर हम कहेंगे स्टैरिक स्टैरिक स्लैश स्टैरिक डॉट टी एस, इसका मतलब है कि इस एसिड्स के फोल्डर के अंदर जितने भी फोल्डर्स हैं उनके अंदर जितनी भी टाइपस्क्रिप्ट फाइल्स हैं वो सारी की सारी. और अगर मैं कहूँ कि ये, तो इसका मतलब है कि जितने भी फोल्डर हैं उसके अंदर जितनी भी फाइल्स हैं वो सारी की सारी ले आना. अगर मैं सिर्फ इसको स्टैरिक कहता हूँ तो डैट यूजुअली मीन्स के जस्ट डैट फाइल. तो आई थिंक दिस इज़ मच मोर कि आप किसी भी फोल्डर के अंदर कोई सी भी फाइल इनसाइड दिस फोल्डर. ठीक है, आई होप डैट आंसर्स द क्वेश्चन. अच्छा जी, अब ज़रा हम ये देख लेते हैं कि इन द ऐप जो हमारे पास मौजूद है एनिमेशन यूजिंग की फ्रेम, उसके अंदर हमें करना क्या है. तो उसके अंदर हमने पिक्चर तो चलें ले ली, और इसकी ऐप का नाम भी हमने रख लिया एनिमेशंस की फ्रेम्स. तो इसको ज़रा हम अपनी किताब के अंदर भी मेंशन कर देते हैं, और इसके लिए मुझे थोड़ा सा कॉपी पेस्ट करना पड़ेगा अबाउट द इंस्ट्रक्शंस, बट आई डोंट रियली माइंड कॉपी पेस्टिंग. ये आ गया यहाँ पे. Since you already know about animation from these recipes, you might be thinking, well, that's easy enough. Time using keyframes in this recipe to get started with. Okay, so all right, so this application's name would be ng animation keyframes. Let's quickly paste that, and then also let's change multi-state animations to this, and then animations using keyframes should be this. Okay, now the recipe is, we have the app right now that has a single transition void to star, which triggers when the element is rendered in the DOM. That's not really right. If I go into app, we have animations. We only have a recipe that goes from void to active. Okay. Hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Void to active, which triggers when the element is rendered. Okay, so abhi hamare paas what we have right now is one single transition that is from void to active, and this triggers as soon as we click. And that should show. Oh no. No. I do want the animation and the components from the final file and not this one. I'm going to copy this. No. Let's see. I would have to copy paste components and app and everything else as well. All right, we're going to make it work. So in the app.html, I'm going to copy this animation with keyframes. I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to delete the app folder. And then from the final one, final apps, chapter 4, basic animation, source, app. I need this folder, or isko we are going to go ahead and paste inside this source. And now I can go ahead and say, hey, I have this new title. Can you please give it to me? Span. No. There we go. And now I have to restart the app. But essentially, Angular animation with keyframes should now work with the new card. और उसके अंदर हमारे पास we should have at least the basic animations that we want to work with. Unexpected closing tag div. What? Oh, I'm missing this. There we go. But we don't have the sliding animation. Why don't we have the sliding animation? All right, I'm gonna delete this again. Sorry. And then we are going to go ahead to get the final, not final, but the starter app of multi-state animation. So app from here becomes app in here, and then we run it. And then we also see Angular animations with keyframes. So app HTML Angular animations with keyframes. All right, now I think this should work. I'm very confused. Animations here are card animation. Card animation should. Is it because? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Huh. We have a problem, and we're gonna fix it in a bit. Provide animations. This should come from the. This should come from import from Angular platform browser animations, and then you go ahead and say provide animations. It looks good. I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna refresh this, and now we got the animations. So yeah, this seems like it's missing from the other recipe as well, so let's quickly fix that. In the basic animation, we have to add it. That makes sense. In the multi-state animation, this should be there already. So in the main TS, oh, we have that, but we did not copy it. Makes sense. No problem. Cool. So main TS, we imported this. Cool, cool, cool. And now we have an animation to start working with. So let's quickly say, all right, this is the starter file. So I'm going to quickly go and say git add, git commit, chore, animations, keyframes, starter files. Cool. Angular animations with keyframes. Cool. Clear. Okay. Now that we have this, the app is running. So we should be good. Are we not good? What? Because I'm in the wrong folder. Git status, git. Yeah, let's do that. Git add. Okay, now we code. So now in the ng animations keyframes, what should we be doing? Let's have a look in the recipe. So we have format, bullet, restart numbering from 1. Thank you. Okay, so how do we start? We have an app right now that has a single transition that is void to active, which triggers when the element is rendered in the DOM. Right now the animation is pretty simple and uses the animate function for to define. Pretty simple. We'll use the keyframes method to build a complex animation. Okay, let's begin with adding the keyframe method from Angular animations to animations TS. Okay, so how do we start? We start going to animations and we start importing keyframes. Okay, so then after then, what do we do? Now we'll convert the single style animation to keyframes as follows. So what do we do here? We have this style active animation here. No, wait a second. Okay. Now I'm a bit confused. I think that the style. No, wait a second. So we have void to active. Okay, so in this case we remove this style, which is this one. So we need to remove this. And then what do we do? Then we have animate that has 0.2 ease. But before I remove, let me copy it. So this should be void to active, and there should be something like this. So we have removed this style, and then we have keyframes that we are adding on top of it. So 0.2 ease keyframes is going to be the one. Did I miss something? No. Okay. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And what have we removed further? We have removed transform translate X. Opacity 0. Okay. Makes sense. So if I right now go this. No, it doesn't seem okay to me. So by default, when you start from void, you have opacity 0. So we don't need this one as well. Yeah, there we go. We do have some problem there, but I think we're going to find it out. So I think that's because of this one. Yes. So there we go. Now we have the transitions, but with now we have transitions, but with the keyframes in this case. So what did we really do? We said, all right, we are going to remove the styles of active, and that's pretty much it. So in this case, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So what did we do? We said, all right, void to active, we're going to remove the style, and the style that we removed was this: opacity 0, translation style, blah blah blah. And then what did we do? We said, all right, animate is going to be 0.2 second ease, and then we said style is going to transform -2 pixel, and style translate x0 offset 1. I think that's good. Notice that in the this code block we remove the active because we don't need it anymore. So I okay, finally let's start with, and let me also see what changes did we do. So we had a style before, so we removed the style, we added the animate, and we added the keyframes, right? This is a bit problematic because we should not have had this delay in there, and that's what I don't like. So if I go all the way, let's say this is the final part, if I go all the way on how it was before, it was like this, and this should not have this one. So I should put it, run it, right? Okay, so now we have this, we add it to the commit, git commit, amend, and now we can add more stuff. So now I go to the file, paste the final code, and we should be good. So we have the same animation but with keyframes. Cool. Finally, let's add some complex animation. Let's add the animation with a scale down card by adding scale 3D to transform property, or style at offset 0. We'll also increase the animation time to 1.5 seconds. Okay, so in this case we are saying void to active. That means that animation is gonna be 1.5 second ease keyframes. So that means we are gonna change this to it's gonna be 1.5 seconds. Am I doing it right? Yes. Animate 1.5 second ease keyframes has style, transform, translate X, but then also we do scale 3D 0.4, 0.4, 0.4. So we're adding a scale right here. Ooh, look at that. Zip, zip. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. So we're adding some animations here. And then we have some style, but I don't think we need to worry about that one at the moment. Okay. You should now see that the card animation starts with small card aside from the left and moves towards the right or left, move towards the right, increasing in size. Yes, I do. Now we'll implement a zigzag-ish animation for the appearance of the card instead of the slide-in animation. Let's add the following keyframe elements to the keyframes array to add a bumpy effect to our animation. Ooh, sounds interesting. So in this case, we have another style that we are adding. Oh, two styles actually that we are adding on top of it. So let's see if I can put this correctly. So now I'm going to add two styles in the middle. And we should also have this removed from here, this removed from here. Okay. So now look at this one. Zip, zip. Probably looks better here. Zip. I love it. Wouldn't it be nice if all the cards on Facebook and Twitter would be like this one? And then I could click, yay! I went to the new page, yay! Awesome. Okay, if you refresh the app and tap any button, you should see the card pumping into the right wall and blah blah blah. Okay, so I think this looks good, but I do need to take a screenshot of it. So which one do we want? I think we want this one. So something like this maybe. So let's see if I can put the card from here and then copy it. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's resume this one. So I see there's a red dot in here, so I'm not gonna go with this. Let's see if I can try it somehow like this. And if I could do, yes, there you go. So now I could add this, do it like this, and then replace my image. Card bumping to the right and left wall. In the last step, we'll spin the card clockwise before it returns to original position. So we need to add one more to this, and that's going to be this one. So let's see. So we got the first style. We got the second style. We got the third style, we got the fourth style, and then the fifth style. So okay, so fifth style. All right, we are also going to do a quick recap of what styles we have added and then what they do. So look at this. So we have 0, so it starts from 0, then 0.25, 25%, 50%, 75%, and then 100%. So it goes from 0 to 100%, and then we add a bunch of animations to it. So look at this. Zip, zip, zip. So this last rotation that you see from like this is what we just added. So if we remove that one, look at this. So it's this one is a bit different, and then this one is a bit different. So this one goes ahead, sorry, that was not the one. So this one goes ahead to 135 degrees. Yeah, that one, like zip. Not the last one, but this one, where it goes like here towards being flat. And that's, I think, what takes quite a lot of time. So if I do this to like 4.5 seconds, then see what happens. So this is the one, this one is, yeah, this is 75% and this is 100%. 25%, 50, 75, and then 100. So that's what we have built. So 1.5 second is cool. And I think that's the one. You now know how to implement complex animation in Angular using keyframes, blah, 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 using the Angular animations. Or we could say using from Angular animations. See in the next section how it works. How it works for complex animation in Angular, the keyframe method is really good way. It's an amazing way of defining different, of providing different timing offsets to the animation, for the animation throughout its journey. We can define the offsets using the styles method, which takes with using the animation style method as a parameter. Animation style is also allows us to pass offset property, which we can have a value between 0.1, reflecting the timing from 0% to 100% of the animation. Thus we can define different styles for different offsets to create advanced animations. Yay! I think we are good. We have worked on 3 different projects, and there are 5 more projects to work on. Stagger animation, running in sequence. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop right here, and let's quickly do a copy. Npm run copy 04 ng animations keyframes. So we copy this, git add final. We make the final one staged like this, and then we remove this. It's got changes. So git commit, or let's have a look at git log. So we had this one, starter files. We can go ahead and say git commit, ensure animations, and we go ahead and say final files. Push. Finally, let's run both applications side by side and see if everything looks good in this case. Alrighty. Okay, pick social type. So there you go. This is the one that we had in the beginning. Really simple application, or not application, but animation. and this is what we get afterwards. So a really complex animation or an example of complex animation, but yeah, it's up to you how do you want to do. You would probably not want this one in a real world application, or yeah, in your own production application, but it's fun to see how you can animate different stuff with just using the keyframes that we had here in the animations. I think this was really interesting. Awesome. So I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to sign off now, and yeah, let's meet in the next wherever stream there would be. So thank you for joining today. I'm going to see you next week.